You have trouble saying numbers there?
Is that your intro? That is awesome.
That's very cool, isn't it? I didn't steal it off anyone, maybe.
Hey, in my book, original. Wow.
Well, I think it was there for people to do it anyway. So I was like, that makes sense. How are you, man?
Good. How are you, man?
I'm good. I'm pumped to be doing a stream. I'm pumped to be chatting with you. We were just discussing. I'm not pumped that I didn't realize that a whole bunch of other people are live at the same time. So anyone sees this, I did not mean anything by it. Me and Rob have been trying to have a chat together for, I reckon we've spoken about this for like 2 months. And I sell air conditioning and it's summer's hit over here. So all of a sudden, weekends are crazy, everything's crazy. And I've just dropped the ball on the streaming game. But yes, you're the first person that I was like, Rob, I'm free now. Are you free? And you were like, yeah, I'm free.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. It's amazing to actually get an invite. So I was pretty stoked, and it's crazy how it's winter here, summer there. So you picked up and I've slowed down. So I'm glad I'm able to do it.
No. Well, that's the other thing as well. Then is daylight savings, which is another reason the clash happens. All of a sudden, we get an extra hour of sunlight, and you guys, yeah. So
back.
It's 7 o'clock there right now. If we did this in 6 months, I think it'd be 9 o'clock.
It will just go up an hour, so maybe I don't know, because then it would be weird. Because then yours goes up and then ours goes up. So then it's just
it's not like we just both do this. We do this.
Yeah, it's just weird. Yeah.
Hey, Punchy, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Meow Aquatics. Big Renzo, what's up, everybody? Just in case, I just wanted to let you know that the person that I know that is streaming now is the secret history behind your aquarium, Alex. So if you're a regular there, he is still streaming, and you can definitely catch us on the replay. So, and I think you're saying a similar thing to a lot of people over there. But awesome to have you all here. Blake, how you doing? Rob, what is up? What is new?
Well, as of right now, I'm getting prepared to move. Me and my lady are closing in on our dream house. You've met me when I was moving the first time.
I know.
Everyone has met me until this time of moving. So, as always, I'm moving with 20 plus tanks. It's fun. I think I'm made to make these videos for people who love to move as well with tanks.
Yeah.
So, but this is going to be a move for a long time because we are actually purchasing this home. So it will be for a very long time that we'll either consider moving. So it's going to be exciting to get into the new house, and it's going to be within a few months, if not, I want to say within. It's going to be quicker than we thought, but it's going to be fast because they're building it. So when we went there, now we're going to have to, they're building from scratch. So we're going to have to go to see what it's looking like. So they've started moving everything out. So it's going to be exciting to see the process.
That's really exciting. There's Alex. Hey, he's about to go live. Are you moving far away or?
In a sense, sort of, kind of.
Your last move was a decent distance, wasn't it?
It would be probably the same distance, about 30 minutes to 45 minutes. It's not a complete hour, but depending on the route you take, because we're in our United States, we're the country that has every road that touches every state. We're the crossroads of America. So we have every single road that we can go anywhere, and we can just say we're going to the same place. I can go 3 different ways, and you can go 3 different ways. They'll all meet up, but just different times. So there's so many ways.
You'd be good for a getaway, it sounds like. No, that's really exciting. So you're building, so you're going to have a designated fish room again in there?
Well, so with this one, this build would be more or less in the garage.
Yeah.
So yeah. So it's gonna be my fish area per se. My lady, she keeps hounding me because she doesn't know I'm taking over the whole thing. Because she doesn't know how much I have in here. She's like, "Oh, you can take up one wall." I'm like, "Oh, whoa. Do you know I have 20 plus tanks in this whole entire room with cinder blocks and all this?" I said, "This is not just one thing." I said, "This is a 2-car garage that's going to map out the whole thing." So I'll be adding more tanks as it is because the air pump I have is too strong for my whole entire fish room. So I have to add more tanks.
Not downsize the air pump, just add more tanks.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that was one thing with us here is, I mean, I had like a bit of the gaming thing, so I had like all these old consoles that had fun collecting them for ages. So I wanted somewhere that we could treat this like a living area. So if we have people over, we can all play old video games, so we can all watch sport and all that sort of stuff. And then I made a bench here with just a couple of fish tanks. And I needed somewhere to edit the video. So then you got to think of that in the fish room. And then that's spread out over here. And now I'm like, all right, I'm not utilizing this space properly. But yeah, we haven't had a car in our garage for maybe a year now.
Oh, wow. See, we're moving into a house that's a little bit smaller than this. So I'm sacrificing a room for a garage that's a little bit bigger. But once one of the kids start moving out, I'll get the room. I'll just have to wait a little bit. And then I have to reconstruct it. I'll have to rip out the carpet. It'll be a whole nother process moving once again. But just in, not in the same, just the same area. I'm always
from Rob93 Aquatics to Rob93 moving tanks. What's that?
It's like Brett Favre watch. It's like the Favre watch back in the day. Like, where's 93 going now? Like, I don't know where he's moving.
Who's Brett Favre?
Brett Favre is an NFL player. He was he just kept. For those who don't know, he kept retiring, coming back, and then he'll be like, "All right, I'm not retiring," and then he'll come back. So it was like a Brett Favre watch episode. So.
I love it. Well, yeah, a little bit earlier you said it's an honor to be asked to have a chat. Like, I sort of met you, first stream that I ever joined in. You were sitting there, Aqua, Matthew Moore, Cichlids. So, like, back then, like, you and Aqua were like inseparable, and then Fishy Biz came along, and I'm like, I love all these guys, and I've always wanted us to be able to have more of a chat, but we have spoken before, but it was really, really tricky for me to try and join you on your channel, but I'd love to soon once all this summer shit's over.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But so how did it all sort of start for you? Because that was me being introduced to like the fish fam at that time, but you'd obviously been doing it for a little bit before then. So what started your fish king journey, and then like how did it evolve into a Rob93 Aquatics?
Really, my lady, she got me back into fish keeping.
Yeah.
I did always have betas growing up. Throughout high school, I would always get one. One would pass away, I would get another one a year later. They would always last a year or two, and then I would get another one. And then finally, I just stopped because I was always moving, as always, moving. I just stopped, having fish, and then my lady ended up getting goldfish, and she stopped taking care of them. And one day I just came in, and they're like gasping for air, and it's algae everywhere. You can't even see the goldfish, and these are goldfish, mind you. So
yeah,
the filter wasn't even moving. I was like, let me look up how to clean up a tank. So I was just like, all right, I can do this. So I started doing this, and then I looked at her. I was like, hey, I could do YouTube and cleaning fish tanks and doing this. And then I started to get fish, and then these fish started to get sick, and then I started to like diagnose what was going on, seeing how that was, and understanding that is a whole different ball game too. So like, there's so many aspects to this aquarium hobby. So like, if you're like into plants, if you're into thickness, if you're into water quality, if you're into just rocks, if you're into driftwood, if you're pretty much into anything of nature that is like evolved or involved with it, you're going to love this hobby. So that's what really got me more intrigued into it. And I went from one tank to 20 plus tanks in a matter of like 6 months.
Gee, that's quick.
Yeah, it was very quick.
What was your wife like? Is that another tank?
My lady looked at me, well, because at first the looks were at first when I got a 90-gallon indoor kid pool pond, and she looked at me and she goes, "What are you doing with that? Are you setting that up for you to sit in it, or are we sitting in that?" I was like, "No, I'm putting fish in there." And she goes, "A 90-gallon pool pond in my house for some fish." And then I put 2 upside down 29-gallon fish tanks inside of the pond. For those who haven't seen my videos earlier, in the times, I actually had 2 29 gallons put into a pond, and they were upside down. It was crazy. Oh.
Sorry.
You're all good.
Just me and Harry home at the moment, and he's like, "Can I make something to eat?" I'm like, "Yeah, go for it."
You're all good. You're all good.
So, like, Pet, how you doing? Rand Rob, Bendigo Balaclava, Craig, Hooked on Fishing, Scale Model Channel, and Chubby Guppy. I haven't said hello to all of you, so thanks for joining us. This is trouble waiting to happen. I just woke up, so I might be a bit down. We have our first question. Before that, though, I love the idea of the 90-gallon like pond or kid pool. I know someone that's breeding shrimp in one. So just thousands and thousands of.
I bet.
Shrimp, and I'm like, I think about it. I know a lot of people on YouTube do it and stuff, and they'll have racking systems and they'll line up all their tanks sideways and then go with all these different shrimp or guppies or whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, man, if you just had a pond and they were breeding in the pond, you would end up with thousands of shrimp like that.
Man.
To maintain all these different tanks. So, I mean, obviously you can't mix the breeds, but.
Of course. Unless you want to. I mean,
yeah.
Unless you want to. That would be interesting just to scoop them up and see what kind of Skittle collection you got going, because depending on what kind of shrimp, because I know there's some that are like Galaxy, I know there's some are like just regular, I know there's some are just like different pearls. I'm like, do you know how cool that would just to throw a whole bunch in there? At one point in time, I thought about that, like you said. I was thinking about putting shrimp in there, but I was like, I can never keep shrimp alive. So why would I put them more in like a 90-gallon? That's not gonna make any sense.
Yeah, I'll just change every element and then try again.
Yeah.
So you don't have any shrimp at the moment?
I did. I mean, Haley from Oddball Aquatics actually gave me some. She gave me some that were actually bearing eggs. Like, I'm talking about fat mamas, and just they're gone.
Yeah.
I can never keep shrimp. I can never keep shrimp.
Were they alone or?
For the most part, all they were with were a sparkling Grommy, which is yay big, and literally Elite Killifish. And Elite Killifish can't really eat a little baby shrimp anyway, and I have a whole bunch of lava rock. I have a whole bunch of guppy grass. I'm just sitting here. I'm like, I think this is a perfect little area. And
yeah, were they crystals or cherries? So like the crystals have like usually you have white and another color.
yeah, they're just regular. They're just regular narrow caradinas. The cherries, like you said, and then they're like there's some black ones, there's some orange ones, there's some green. It's a mixed colored ones. So they want like some prestigious ones. So I thought they were going to survive. Like just like, oh, they're hardy, just plop them and drop them. I'm like, all right.
They're funny because like I've got some reds over here, although I haven't seen them for a while. It's a very dark water tank. It's an endless tank, and they breed like crazy.
Okay.
It's sort of a minimal, like no fuss, no water change, just top up sort of tank. Okay. And then I've got another one over here, or another two over here, sorry. And they die in one of the tanks, and the other tank had just gone nuts. Like there's at least 100 or 200 in this small tank. But I could never keep the crystal shrimp. I tried, granted, I think I only tried twice. Got them and thought, all right, it's the same sort of thing. They should be fine. And then they died after a couple of weeks. But I've got 7 really, really good looking ones in this tiny little 10-liter tank. So like 2 gallon or 2.5 gallon tank. But I did lose them in that at first. And then I've cycled and changed things and got plants on. I put CO2 to get the plants to take over the tank, pulled the CO2, then put the shrimp in, and they're doing really well at the moment, except planaria all through there as well. So I did a video about what planaria can do to your shrimp because they're a flatworm that can eat all the baby shrimp.
That's what I was about to say. Isn't that a worm or something? That's
yeah.
And see, I don't, and that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't know. Like you just said, I have to go in depth of what's into that because I don't know what's going on. So maybe that's what they had that are dying from.
You can get planaria in like any of your tanks. Like usually they'll stow away on some plants or something like that. The problem with them, like if you like crush them to kill them, they're like if you chop a planaria into 10 pieces, you now have 10 brand new planaria that will just go off. It's like roads in Indiana. They go everywhere.
Oh no!
Exactly. So then it's really tricky to get. I'll show you. It's right. I had to get this online. Gives you a little bit of an idea of what they look like too. I had to get this online because you can't buy it over here as well.
Okay.
But yeah, so I'll be dosing that. I'll be doing a video on me using it and how I've used it and how successful it is. But yeah, it's hard to tell. You don't really know exactly what's wrong. I also got 2 Amano shrimp, bigger shrimp. I don't know a lot about them, to be honest. I got them in a mystery box, and I put them in this tank over here. One jumped out of the tank the first night, and then I never saw the other one again. And I was like, well, that sucks. These are like $30 shrimp. And he's here right now. Eventually, he came back out, and it's crazy. You hardly see him, but he comes out every now and then. So I've got a school of Ember Tetras in there, and there's just this massive shrimp that walks around.
Yeah, I love Ember Tetras. Those are a nice addition to any nano tank or any massive tank too. I would love to see a whole bunch of those in a massive tank. Do you know how amazing that would look too?
Yeah, I think it's on the Aquarium Co-op channel. Jimmy, the old Swisky, Jimmy. His girlfriend Lizzie just set up a skate and they filled it with Ember Tetras. And I'm like, I don't know, they just look so good on an aqua skate tank. I went off track. PB Aquatics, S, Royal Fish Aquatics, Furlough, BJ, how are you all? Thank you for joining us. Happy New Year, everyone. We had a question from Craig before. Why would a healthy mystery snail die 2 hours after a water change in a 34-litre tank with 1 better in it? I don't know. I'm not really an expert on snails. So 2 hours after Jess is it wasn't healthy, but it looked healthy before.
So it was a health. Well, depending on how long you had it, that could be a thing. Maybe the temperature shock. If you didn't temperature your water right at any point in time, maybe you knocked it off, and it was just that last knockoff. You know, it was just tired of getting knocked off. Snails are like
Had it for 6 weeks.
it's a hard situation. It's a hard situation.
Yeah, I feel like snails can look like they're completely fine. All of a sudden, you go, snail's dead. What happened there? And
Yeah.
I had multiple. So I got one mystery snail. Oh, but Harry really wanted it. And then all of a sudden, I had eggs all through the lid of the tank. So then I had lots of mystery snails. And yeah, some died when they were little. Some grew really big. Some I don't know what some died of, but I know a bunch of them died because they were in the tank with a knife, ghost knife.
Mm-hmm.
He was snapping on them at night, so he'd be getting super active at night. And he'd just pulling them over and then grabbing them out of the shells. And just whether he would eat the whole snail, I don't know, or whether he just did enough damage to kill them. But
Yeah, that's for sure. And they only said a beta in there.
yes.
And depending on how long after, did you know how long the snail was eating? Because I know when I don't feed my tanks for a couple of days, I lose snails throughout the time, especially my ram's horn snails. Just when there's an infestation, if I don't feed for a day or two when I'm out, you know, filming or on a vacation or something, I come back, there's a lot of, you know, shells at the bottom. I'm like, oh, I got rid of some, you know, infestation. That's good. So
That's a good idea, actually. I have a real issue over here, and I bought some Pakistani loaches.
mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've ever seen them before, but I thought that'd be the perfect guys to get rid of this snail problem I've got. And they just seem super happy just swimming back and forth to the front and leaving the snails alone. So maybe I'm feeding too much, and they're like, well, we don't need to because we get our food anyway.
Yeah. It's just like actually overfeeding your cleanup crew. It's just your algae goes, you know, rampant, like because they're eating regular food and all this. So like, say you have snails and say you have bristlenose plecos, and you keep feeding them over, you know, just a whole bunch of peas and green beans and like rapacia and stuff like that, and then like you see algae, you're like, hold on, wait a minute, their main source is algae. Now my tank is algae. I'm feeding them too much. So a lot of people don't know. I don't know if there's a balance in between that because I've seen so much algae. I'm like, this defeats the purpose of the cleanup crew. If I'm overfeeding them now, like.
Well, that's the other thing. If you overfeed, does the food, the waste, then become toxic to some of the cleanup crew? Sure. And that could be a really, be something that pops up a bit when you have a betta in a tank alone because you feed one fish and they'll go and eat a little bit and bits will sink and they'll always miss it because they want to sit at the top.
True. Yeah.
Maybe that's something that happens. But yeah, weird that it happened after the water change.
Yeah.
BJ's saying, I had a large die-up in my mystery snails once. Think it was not enough calcium and food. Yeah, so that's another thing as well. When you've got animals that have shells and invertebrates and stuff, you got to make sure that you've got something in there that they're going to draw the calcium from.
Yeah, there's a lot of methods out there. The eggshells is definitely one of the cheapest ways. If you have eggs, just hard-boiled egg, just, you know, take it off of the hard-boiled egg, everyone. If y'all don't know what a hard-boiled egg is, put water, egg, hard-boiled egg. Take it
and then peel the shell.
A lot of people don't know what a hard-boiled egg is, so I have to explain to people nowadays.
Eggs are real popular at the moment. I can't eat them. I'm allergic to them. Which is,
really?
It's like food poisoning. If I eat something with egg in it, I'm like.
So you wouldn't be able to take the flu shot in certain cases because the flu shot, they ask you if you're allergic to eggs, and if you are, they say no because you'll have allergic reaction.
That's right. So I have to take something different. And red wine can be naturally filtered with egg yolk. And fish oil to filter red wine. So I've always got to be careful if someone's like, do you want a glass of red? They'll be like, no, it tastes disgusting. But if I wanted to, I'd have to be careful.
Yeah. So that's pretty. Yeah, a lot of people have weird. I've ran into a lot of people who have weird allergies. I have weird allergies too. Like I'm allergic to pickles, which is weird.
My wife was pickles, so that would be bad for you.
Yeah, allergic to pickles, lavender and latex. It's weird.
God, I think well, I'm allergic to fish, peanuts, egg.
You can't even have an actual vitamin because there's fish oils and vitamins. There's certain.
Well, I can have to fish oil. I don't know what it is with fish. There's something with fish. My mouth just blows right up.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Like food poison.
Okay, so it's not extreme. Okay.
Peanuts are extreme.
Oh, you're like my cousin. He's extreme. He can't smell them. He'll.
No, yeah, same. If my wife's cooking with eggs, if she's baking, sometimes I have to leave the house. My whole face just blows up.
Yeah, he'll feel sick. He'll start to feel sick, and then all of a sudden he'll start to blow up. I'm like.
But we just got 2 chickens, and on Christmas Day they laid their first eggs, and so it was a little Christmas present. And both of them were double yolkers, and I don't even eat eggs, and I was excited that they were double yolkers.
You're just so excited. I understand, though. It's cool to see the life of it. That is cool.
It is, and then my son, he doesn't eat eggs, but all of a sudden we made him try some scrambled eggs. Now he wants scrambled eggs everywhere. He runs out and he gets the eggs. He's like, "Can I have these for breakfast?" And I'm like, "When because I can't eat eggs. We don't really eat a lot of eggs in this house." I was like, "When we get chickens, what are we going to do with all the eggs?" And geez, he's making up for it. He's trying to eat 3 or 4 eggs a day.
Extra protein for the children.
Exactly. One thing I sort of use with invertebrates and stuff as well is anything like I have crushed coral sand. So if I'm doing like a little aquascape or something, which I did in the one back here, I put like a Cereus stone, and then I got another one and I smashed it up with a hammer and then sort of sprinkled it around the stone, and then I sprinkled the crushed coral sand around. So that added naturally like the calcium into the water, and then it sort of looked like a natural rock.
You take too much time in your tanks, dude. That's why your tanks look better than mine. That's why your tanks
I remember at one stage being scared of showing a tank with algae on it because I knew Rob93 would be like, "Clean your tank."
Oh no, I'm just a stickler on water spots.
Oh, that's it, water spots. That's right.
I mean, I used to be about algae, and then I was just like, it helps filter the water, and it's good for the fry. I can live with that, but water spots and hardness of the water, like calcium on the tanks, I can't stand it. So I'm just sitting there constantly. Like I did that earlier today, and I'm just now feeling relief. So yeah, no, yours will always look better than mine because you actually take time. And a lot of people don't understand that. If you take time in a tank, it'll look good. Mine's a trial and error type thing. If it goes together, it's all right. And if it doesn't, it starts out good sometimes, and then it just goes, woo.
Well, it takes time to look this good.
I tell you, mine will never have that time. It just goes, it's good because it starts out good. The plants look good, and then it just goes, woo.
Have you ever used CO2?
No CO2 over here. I'm not that high tech, dude. I don't want to blow up nothing. I want to blow up nothing, man. You know how hard it is to put in certain things by yourself for the first time? And sometimes you don't have no one to extend out that, education to you, especially when it's like this. Because when I'm a fish nerd, like you're a fish nerd, we can talk about fish all day. Like the people in the chat, we can talk about fish all day, but we can never get tired of it. Even if we're tired of it, we can talk about fish because it gets us back into the mood about talking about fish. So, and the fact that when I can't express that to someone here, I can't get help like putting in an air pump. Like I put in a whole Gymco air pump, and I'm in here sweating. It's 85 degrees. I have a heated room, so I'm by myself. I can't consult with no one, so I'm sitting there like, yeah, that looks right. Yeah. Like everything's unleveled. I didn't use a measuring tape. I didn't care. I was just putting it up, but it happened. That's what we do as fish keepers. We just go about it. So that's how hard it is.
Like it covers so many elements of like just nature and trying to recreate something that's, you know, nature creates itself. Like having the right amount of plants and the nitrogen cycle, the water flow, the right light. And then it gets into this DIY thing of, yeah, you like, oh, I'm going to run water, like tubes here so I can have air coming to these. I'm just going to run that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Building stuff. And they're just for little fish.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't, so obviously you haven't. So if you ever do, like, try and do a skate, the one that I did over here, I did a dry start method with the Monte Carlo. So you just put the soil in, put the Monte Carlo in, and just spray it once every couple of days. It rewards you at the end. It took 6 months to get to here, and now I've got a massive hair algae problem. But
see, and that's the thing too. It messes me up inside when I have them going and something wrong happens. Either it gets too hot in the room, because that's the thing a lot of people don't understand. Plants don't like too much.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, some plants will do all right, but some majority, or, you know, in the modern, they like, you know, cool to lukewarm water. So if I have a room that's heated and this heater gets, you know, bumped, or my little one, because I do have a daughter who's 1 who loves to play with knob, comes in here and goes click, click, and goes to all the way to, you know, 3 or 4 on this heater that's like 1,000 degrees. If you know, I came in here before, and I think that's what happened. I've had guppy grass just melting, and I'm just like, no, it was doing so well. And that's why I said it's always that one time that I've had it going so well. And then even if it's not my fault and that room is just hot, because I walk in and I know when I know the room is hot. I know when I know the room is hot. I just feel it.
Yep.
And when I walk in, I'm like, shoo, and I turn on the lights, and then they're just melting. I'm like,
I just turn the light off and walk back out.
yeah, I'm just like, where do I start? You know, like.
Well, you're so right. Even just having this chat now, you're talking about temperature, because I've set up a tank in the lounge room. I mean, I've had it there forever. I pulled everything out, and I filled it with Aqua soil. I bought big bits of driftwood, and I've just spent hundreds of dollars on plants, and that includes them giving me a bunch of plants to go, here, we like what you're doing, like, here's some extras.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, I've spent all this money on these plants, and I put them all in, and I've got CO2 set up, and I'm like, this can't go wrong. But I have not even thought about the temperature of the tank. I need to go double check that, because I had rummy nose in there who like to run at a higher temperature. So I could have that tank at 27 degrees and go, ooh, pull it down 3 or 4.
Yeah, see,
right, so many elements.
Yeah,
I want to get.
That's another thing with this live stream, or us just conversing with this. We have discussion about this. You're like, oh man, I never thought about that either, because a lot of people don't understand, even when their fish die. And the number one thing of fish dying is sometimes, especially if you don't know absolutely nothing, it's just the simple age. The age of that fish or snail or creature may have just surpassed, and it was just time for it to go. You never know. Sometimes it may have been sick, but just acting healthy. An Oscar can be sick and you never know it, because they are always happy, depending on how far along the stage of being sick. I've seen hole in the head Oscar being happy as all get out. I mean, I've seen worse, but I've seen some who are actually just, I've seen a hole in the head and they're, you know, happy go lucky because they're always happy.
Yeah.
So you never know. And then, like you just said, you were thinking like, all right, all my parameters are good. I have rummy nose in here, so you know the water quality is good. If their noses are cherry, they look good, they're all right. But I don't know what's going on because my plants are dying. If there's some kind of like little organism in there killing them? Is it something I did? Is it the lighting? Like you're just like, I don't know. And then when we talk about it, I'm like, I'm thinking it's the temperature. I'm thinking it's this. I'm thinking it's that. And then you're like, oh snap, temperature.
Yeah, actually, again, like I was sorry, cover your ears, man. But I got some honey blue eyes a while ago, and they slowly died off. And I put them in different tanks because I was like, I stuff up this tank. One of them lasted about well, maybe not quite a year, and then I sort of they're an endangered species down here, and there's very limited information about them. I did a video on them, learning as much as I could about them, and the average lifespan was like 1 or 2 years. And I was like, well, if I'm getting these things at a year old anyway, then they're not going to last forever. And I was saying that
they're like killifish. You're never gonna really see the true beauty of them live out.
Well, that's it. But they are. Damn, I said cover your ears. They're for sale again at one of the shops. So the guy's like, "Do you want me to get you some honey blue eyes?" And I was like, "I don't know, man. I had them. I think they died of old age." Because well, that's it. I'm like, it's only lived like sort of 2 years. He's like, no, man, I've got some that are 6 years old. I'm like, all right, well, something else is definitely wrong, man.
Something's really wrong, yeah. Or are you sure you're not just seeing the same one? I don't know. Or is that the one that you just been sitting at the bottom of the tank for 6 years? I don't know.
Wow. It is weird, but it's good because that's it. You have a normal. It's almost like you said before. You're alone trying to set something up. You don't want to be mucking around with something that you worry it's going to explode or anything like that. But every time you chat with someone, it gives that bit of confidence, a bit more of a inspiration to go, hey, maybe I was doing something. Maybe I can try them in this tank or whatnot. I mean, I've got another scape here. It is empty. It's set up. The soil's in. The rocks are in. I've even got like this. Have you seen these? The tissue culture plant?
Look. See, don't show me that stuff because a lot of people don't understand. We don't get stuff. Well, I get a little bit of that. I just have to get there because it's like first come, first served basis, and I always get there late. So I never get the good quality stuff. Like I'll get something that looks like that, but then you'll turn it over and you're like, oh my goodness, why does it look like this? Is it supposed to look like that? You're like, that is horrible. So yeah. Good stuff. Good. That's why your stuff will always look good too. Some of our products has not went to the best height of. So a lot of y'all over there like to do a lot of studies and take care of the actual plants themselves and do research and wanna help the ecosystem more than just the fish. Because I notice a lot of people build around either the fish or they build around the plants. They don't care about the tank. I mean, they'll care about the tank as far as the limits of what they can put in it. But as far as, the fish and the plants, they always will build around those two.
No, you're spot on. And that's actually something that probably happened to me more recently. So 2020, I made my own goal to try and become better at aquascaping because before that I never really tried. And one of the things that happens with aquascaping is you go, oh, I'm gonna give that a go. And you'll get a rock and a bit of wood and a plant, and you'll be like, it's like this episode of The Simpsons, like that's a fun looking barbecue. Why doesn't mine look like that? Because they've spent $300 on plants, and then they've got this $300 CO2 system, and to get it all there, I managed to be able to cheat a little bit and work with other people to do formations, buy it as one, and then slowly add to it as I could afford it. Yeah. And I realized now I'm starting to go, I want the tank to look like this. Now, what sort of fish could I put in? Not, I want to get these sort of fish. What am I going to put in the tank with them? Then I've totally done that 180, like you just said.
Yeah.
Hey, Gary.
And with always with fish keeping as well, because we're discussing as of right now about anything and everything about fish keeping. No one is smarter than someone else. If I came up with an idea, And if he came up with an idea, we're both working on a situation. That's a lot of fish keepers nowadays. They feel like they're just so right about something, they're stuck in their ways. If we converse about something like, ooh, that does sound better than what I have been thinking about, or actually I can use something as far as what you have and then mix it with mine. Because I have a learning disability. When I was younger, I had to read a certain way, or I had to do a certain way, or I had to structure something differently. So they would have to teach me the harder way first, and then they'll teach me the easier way. And it was upon myself to actually take the harder and easier way to put them together and to make it easy. So I've always been open-minded to everyone's opinions to anything and everything around it. I would never, put something down. So like with us having these conversations, like I'm like, oh, I love these live streams because people need to be here to have these kind of conversations, because a lot of people will have these same kind of issues in the chat.
Yeah, exactly. Meow Aquatics has a good one there. And hey, Josh, how you doing? Get a cheap weather station and put the sensor in the fish room and the digital readout in the room you're spending your time, so like your lounge room. And then you can be like, that's a good idea. Like a lot of people do it and put them outside to say this is what's coming. But yeah.
So I mean,
it'll tell you the humidity and the temperature and stuff, and you can.
I have mine over here, but I don't know if it's accurate. You see what I'm saying? I don't know if it's accurate as much as a digital one would be. And who would say a digital one is even accurate? Like, I've had a digital thermometer in here, and then I've had a regular thermometer. I've had like 3 different thermometers in one tank, and they've all read a different one. I'm like, I don't know who to believe right now.
No, I know what you mean. I wanted to ask you. We talked about how you got all these tanks, but why did you start a YouTube channel?
Why did I start a YouTube? Well, I actually had a YouTube channel a long time ago. I started it. I just never had uploaded content.
Okay.
And then I started watching some people, and then I was like, hey, I can do some stuff like this. I'm like, maybe I can do some stuff. And I'm like, nah. And I looked at my, she was like, you should try it. And then I did. And then Miss Deb Tim and Dub Ruxy, another fellow Australian of yours.
Josh, yeah.
I've met them, and it's been 3 years, and I've been doing YouTube ever since. And he's giving me shout outs, and she's giving me shout outs, and they were the first people who actually commented on my stuff and got me into knowing like a whole bunch of people, getting to live streams and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I just started doing videos after videos, and I just thought that if I could do it, a lot of people needed to kind of see what I was up to. And it was like, oh, if he could do it, I can do it as well. I mean, you could try anything. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I've had some trial and errors. Like, there's some times that I'll be in here and you'll hear a poof. That's when you'll hear like a blowout. That's when you hear a blowout or something. You'll be like, all right, what happened now? You're like, what broke or what happened? You're like, what project have I done out of the 1,000 videos I've done? That because there's videos I've done that I've completely scrapped. I'm like, that video sucks. Like, I've scratched. Like, there's thousands of videos that I've done projects that have never made it, but they're still running this fish room somehow. And so, like, when I hear a poof or a whoosh or a shh or there's a sound. If there's a different sound, I'm like, what sound would make that, and what project, how long ago was that? So then I'm just, I'm stuck at whatever it was. So.
No, yeah, you're right. Like, I've got one at the moment, which is it's funny too because it's sort of blown up a bit, definitely by my standards. There's like 1,500 views on growing Monte Carlo outside, sort of the dry start method, but just sort of putting it in a tub outside, sort of to make my own, so that I can then work on aquascapes later and go, I don't need to go and buy packets of this stuff. I'll grow it myself. It all dried out. Like, it all worked.
Oh, really?
The lid kept coming off, and it wasn't holding the moisture, so that has died, basically. And then the video's gone nuts, and I'm like, oh my God, what do I do here? So
I think failure makes you better in videos.
Yeah, you're exactly
video, I think you should just do something like almost close to failure, if not failure, and you'll hit every video.
Well, what I'm thinking is I will do the update and say this didn't work because of this part. So I changed that part and now it works perfect. It can still work. It was just the glad wrap or cling wrap just was not sticking on what I wanted. And that will work for other people with a different container, but it just wasn't in the way that I. But yeah, you're exactly right. Like you go, actually, I wouldn't want to watch some of my first videos anymore. I go, why did you say that? You can't delete that video. Not allowed to say that.
Yeah, like there's been times I'm sitting there, I'm like, why did I say any of that? That is so not what I thought I was gonna say. And I put that in the video?
Yeah. You don't even think that. Why did you put it there? You get
and I'm like,
the camera just gives you like, oh, the camera's rolling. I don't know what to do.
I was like, maybe I was rushing. I was like, my dad never told me to rush on anything. And I've always done that on that one. And I've always done it on videos. So I'm like, this is like homework. Like kids don't realize as you get older and get into the real world, you have homework. And there's a form of homework in every sense. Like you always have homework. Like, you got to do something. Like comments. It feels like comments. Once you get at a bigger base as far as people who enjoy watching you or just enjoy talking to you, it's almost as homework as you want to communicate with them because you want to make sure they're feeling like, in a way special because you are, communicating with them and you're understanding that they're being seen because of them commenting on your stuff. You kind of want them to make sure they're feeling the love. So it's kind of like a whoa.
I know you're exactly right. I mean, I don't find it a chore, but I don't do it every day. So it's like pissing me off.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. You've got to. If they take the time to send something to you, take the time to stick a little heart next to it and answer a question or whatnot. What was I going to say? You threw me with the comment thing. The homework thing. You can choose your own homework, though. That's the cool thing. Like in school, it's like, we're never going to use this. Like, so when you're doing a new video or something, then you're like, no, this is something that I think will be of interest to people. And I found that very quickly. I went through a couple of months there where I'd make a video just updating what I'm doing with the tank. And a few people like it, and then it would just stop. And it was like, all right, what do people get out of that other than me talking about me? So I was like, now when I say here's an update and this is how we're going to plant this because it works this way, then people walk away with some knowledge. I was going to ask you because I missed a lot of your live streams because I'm working when you're streaming. But you had not doing that many uploads, like scheduled videos,
I'm sporadic on my uploads because, like I said, I'll do 1,000 videos and then I'll scrap them at the end when I'm supposed to upload. And also with my live stream being on Wednesdays, it's in an awkward part of the week. So if I upload it, say Monday, it may not be seen by a lot, or I feel like I'm over 93 in it too much. I'm giving you too much 93. Some people need to stop seeing me. Okay, I don't know if my people who love seeing me are talking.
I want to become 93 dependent.
Yeah, it's just like I don't want to be seen. I don't want to see myself all the time either. You know what I mean? So like I don't want to do too much. So like I have to have a time where I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going to give my people a video. I've done a live stream this week, or even if I have not done a live stream, I'll give 2 videos or whatever it is. But I try to give a video when I feel the video should be thrown out there. Like I've had 5 videos in 1 week and I'll only put out 1. And I'm like, I don't think these are the best 5 videos, and I'll just do 1. And I'm like, all right, that's
a hard part too. Like when you like narrow yourself into, which I have done, making sure there's a video at a certain time. I get sort of 2 or 3 days out from when that video is meant to be out, And
yeah, are you losing over there? It looks like he's beating you up over there. That fly is that fly has some kind of vendetta against you or something. You must have killed his cousin.
I hope I did. But yeah, it's all of a sudden you like, all right, I'm going to put that video out. And what I'm finding is I like to take a lot of time to edit, but I don't have enough time to edit. So the end product doesn't usually come out the way that I want because I'm trying to do that time. But then I sort of trying to be regular and have like one video every week. And I was doing a stream once every 2 weeks. So what I did, I put out 2 videos recently. I've started a little series, just species care guide. So it's just, here's the fish. This is what you need to know about them and why I chose them. They're all fish that I own. So I can easily get the footage and I can easily say, yes, I've successfully kept these fish for a long time. And this is how I've done it. And I recorded all those videos at once. So then I've edited it. So, my God. This thing's trying to take over the stream. So like super early my time tomorrow, I'm trying to think what time it would end up being yours. Like 1 o'clock tomorrow or something every Monday or every Sunday for you.
Wow.
Video will come out for 5 weeks. So I've already sorted that and I don't even think about it, don't have to worry about it.
A good thing. Yeah, it feels good when you're a video ahead or two or you have some kind of drawback because you know that there's going to be that 1 week where you're like, all right, I need some cushion. I need to do 2 or 3 videos where if I don't do one, I know I have one to release.
Yeah.
And a lot of people starting out don't know that you can upload a video and have it ready to go before you know it. You know, you can do that and you can schedule to do. And that's the growing pains of starting a YouTube. And a lot of people don't understand that as well. You can be doing this for 3 years and not get the exposure because you're not tagging it right. You're not doing the right thumbnails. You're not mingling with the right people. You're not understanding what the hottest fish are, what you feel like you can do as far as a fish keeper, because some people, you know, just enjoy doing music and fish tanks, and some people who love doing education and some people love, you know, doing a fishing aspect of wild caught fish and throwing them in a pond or doing all kinds of things. So there's a realm of things that you just have to pick, and that's the growing pains of starting a YouTube. Honestly, it's just what are you gonna do? Like you see so many YouTubers that are starting out, because if you look up a lot of the YouTubers, it's a lot of YouTubers, a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
So depending on what genre you do, it's like what you pick is it's just like you got to run with it or change it up at a certain time. Like it's just hit and miss, honestly. So that's the growing pains, really.
Absolutely, and I think so a good example of what you're talking about is you'll never really figure it out. I think even the big guys they haven't really figured it out, but they've hit the point that they're going to get the views no matter what they put out. But
oh yeah, they don't even have to tag their stuff, and their stuff is up there. You know what I mean?
And then it's hard because then you sort of look at what they do, and then you try and do the same thing. And you go, well, that didn't work. That was worse. You're like, because they're not trying to, you know, get YouTube to push them. YouTube's already going to push them because they know what's going to happen. So a little example of that was I did this species care guide, and one of the fish I chose was Ember Tetras, and Aquarium Co-op put out a video on Ember Tetras about 3 or 4 days before I was going to put out my first video about rummy nose tetras. And I switched it around and went, do the Ember Tetras, just see, because it might make people go, what were those fish? I want to learn about them. And there might be a good time to look them up. It didn't work, but that was something that I was like,
it's strategizing. Yeah.
Maybe this will work. Maybe it will work. They've actually they don't perform very well at all. And I know that's another thing as well. Don't be discouraged by the short game, because the long game will come into effect. Like they'll slowly get views, and all of a sudden one day you'll look at it and go, oh, it's not over 1,000 views now, but it's taken a year or something like that because it's a specific thing that people are looking for.
Dude, there was videos that, like I said, I scrapped videos. I've thrown videos. There was a video, like those 2 videos I've done about fairy shrimp. One of them are like 4,000. One of them's at like 2,000. I'm sitting here. I'm like, what? I don't even know how to tag those things. I don't even know what. I was like, what? And it was like 6 months or months afterwards. So it wasn't like a year. I mean, there was some where I'm like, okay, I can see that number being a year or like 1K at a year because it was kind of raunchy. It was all right. But I'm like, this was so dry, and this is like a kid. This is like a kid thing, and I'm like,
well, that was one of those things as well. Like the one video that did well for me early was embarrassing because I was singing AC/DC with my sunglasses on at the start. Like why did that one have to take off? And now there's one about not planaria, but about the Detritus worms that it's killing it, which is amazing and it's really good. And it's just not what you would think. Like I've made 200 videos, and the one about worms is doing better than all the others about fish. But I wanted to ask you one thing. Have you seen the new YouTube Shorts features?
oh, where you have to do a short video?
Yeah, you got to do it in a portrait mode.
Dude, my videos are already short. I'm not doing short videos. and that's another thing. A lot of people can't grasp it too much. Yeah, see, I can't do that.
See, no, but what you do, like, so you go onto your YouTube videos. These are all short videos. And
yeah.
You want to go the other way?
See, I can't do that. I got too much going on in life, honestly, because I already have Instagram shorts. Yeah, I
wanted to challenge you to this. If you do one for 15 seconds, just use your phone, get your fish, upload it, and then just put in #shorts. I wanted to do an experiment with you and see what happens with it, because I did one, nothing happened, and then all of a sudden in 1 hour, 400 views, and then it stopped again.
Well, I'll see, because I got a video that might be a good one to go viral. My new fish were running back and forth in the new tank. They were like, and I was going back and forth. It might be something good. It might be something good. I might check it out for you.
It's got to be in portrait mode though.
Oh, I gotta be in portrait mode. Dang.
I know I did that in the first videos. What's up?
Okay, maybe I'm gonna switch. I can't switch it. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do my best.
Definitely.
I don't know if I can do that. That doesn't even make it look good for me. I can't do that. No.
Yeah, YouTube, TikTok. That's exactly right, man, Rob.
TikTok. See, I'm not young enough to be in TikTok. I'm in the middle. I'm like in that awkward stage. I was born in '93. That's why, hence, Rob93 is my channel name. And I'm in the middle because I have some season to me, but I'm also still wet behind the ears. I'm still brand new to the world. Okay. So, you know, some people will say something like that was back in the 80s, and I'm like, no, no, don't look at me about that, because I don't know nothing. But if someone was to say about 2010, I'm like, all day.
I was born 85, so I was born in the 80s, but I still.
So you're kind of in the awkward stage too, because you're like young. But
well, yeah, and when I do TikToks, people go, "What's this gross older dude doing?"
Yeah. so you're not like super old, but you're like not young. You're just like right in the middle. You're just like, people just don't understand. Even the young people look at you like you're younger than them. You're like, really?
Well, that's the thing. I think the reason I looked at those sort of formats is to see, are they things that, you know, you could benefit from? Like, TikTok's a really silly, weird one. I'm pretty convinced that TikTok's algorithm is. Sorry?
TikTok doesn't want me on there. I'll get banned from TikTok. I got too many ideas for TikTok. Uh-oh. That fly got him. The fly got him, y'all.
I think with TikTok, the algorithm is put 3 videos out, and TikTok's going to smash one of them, and like you'll get heaps of views.
Yeah.
And then you'll go, this is working. I'm going to keep using TikTok. That's what because me and a mate were mucking around. He put out a video of me pumping up a ball, had 3,000 views in the first night. And you're like, why? Why the hell did that get 3,000 views? Not funny, not anything. And you just go, I just want to learn about how it works. So that's why I thought I'll try the YouTube Shorts. And I was like, I don't know, if the YouTube Shorts are good, could it be a way of trying to streamline your videos?
Yeah.
Like saying it's homework, but if you're doing a 1-minute video, one shot, no editing.
Well, I wish I could.
It's an idea.
1 second.
He's running away. For those that are interested, tomorrow, the species care guide that I'm putting out, I can guarantee none of you will be able to guess what fish it is. I own the fish, had them for ages. But if you want to know, make sure you check it out tomorrow. I hope you've all had an awesome start to the new year. Melvin, good to see you here. Jesse, Sunfish for Fish, Freshwater Canucks. How is everybody? We've just pushed it. Oh, hello. I was going to ask, how is dad life? Because when we first met, she was on her way.
Dude, you've met me when I didn't have kids, and it changed me a lot. It's actually made me want to do better for her, because if I do better for me, she's going to do better, in life. So if I do pretty good in this, if she wants to take this and and run with it as she gets older, whatever, she has a lot of options, because I've done my due diligence in my lifetime to make her life much more easier. So it's pretty amazing to be a dad of a daughter. I mean, for those who only have sons, I'm sorry, but it's really different. Thank you, Little. She loves shutting my door, because I always tell her mom to shut my door because I can't have the heat escape. Thank you, Little. And she's running right now.
My boy is 8 now, and he just makes me want to get noise-canceling headphones.
Well, yeah, you're almost like, when can I go deaf and have hearing aids so I can turn them off from his mom and from the kid? Like.
No, it's awesome. It's funny because since I first met you, I don't even think we hadn't even announced that she was on the way. Then went through that, and then she was born, and then you had to move, and now you're moving again, and you're building a house as a massive transformation. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, life is good, man. Young times. I mean, I started at about 25, so not a lot of people, start at 25, which I did. So, going from there, just and keep going and not looking back is the best thing to do. And it feels amazing to actually have a family, and to have a family outside of a family is 10 times even 10 times better.
Yeah.
Then you have double the support. So that's why it's always amazing to get invites from people like you, because you're an amazing person throughout the community, and people will respect you. So just to be on this platform is amazing, and talking to everyone in the chat is always amazing. So that's why I love the Fish Fam.
I think you're blowing smoke, but yeah, no. No, you're right. It's really cool. I don't know.
She got red. Look, she's mad now.
She likes to lay down on the floor in there.
Yeah, and I won't let her because it's dirty in here. Yeah.
The Fish Fam is like something really cool. Like, met a lot of people. I have items sitting in front of me that are all over the world from people just, showing support of winning something or just wanting to do something nice for me. And I've never would have thought anything like that would happen when you just make some videos about your fish tank and then connect to people and to be able to nerd out with people about fish, because most of my friends are like, can you stop talking about fish? Did you watch the footy the other night? I'd rather talk about that.
They want to talk about distractions. I'm like, dude, I have other distractions more than distractions itself. So I'd rather be in my fish room, looking at my fish, see what I can do better, what I can upgrade, doing this, that, and the other. I mean, especially with sports being the way it is, not really being the full effect. I'm just like, it's time for me to stay more into the fish room. And honestly, in my opinion, if you can give yourself one good full day of just you and your fish room, you're able to do it. You know what I mean? Just make yourself better. I think honestly that's the best thing you can do with, you know, society nowadays, because you got to step away from a lot of things, and that's why you said Fish Fam is a good place to go and step away from, because you can talk to people, and a lot of people don't want to talk to you about fish all the time. Like if someone comes up to me about fish, I'm like, oh, you want to talk about fish? You want to talk about fish? Oh, here's a seat. I got a seat. Don't worry, it's clean. I cleaned it and everything. I got you. Sit down. Here, you want water? Like, I'm telling you, I love talking to people about fish. It's fun.
It is. It's really good, and it's also one of the reasons I really like doing this sort of acclimate experience setup, is to learn about the people behind the fish too. So I know we all know that we've got that sort of in common, but it's so cool to see people all over the world, different ways of looking at things. I think today you sort of you've inspired me to think a little bit more freely, and probably just be a bit more chilled and go, all right, have we got everything covered, and have we thought about things in a different way, and not to stress about it either way, but just to so it's been good. It's been fun. Never thought fish videos would allow me to have lifelong friends. Exactly, Eric. Sickles23, welcome. But I'm going to let you go. Have an awesome night. Thank you very much for joining me. I want to see you do a YouTube short and tell me how it goes.
Yeah, no doubt. I appreciate it, man, as always. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here because she is definitely ready for some bedtime. And that fly is about to beat you up for real, man. What is going on with that fly?
I don't know. I think I opened the window and I think it flew out. Or now it's watching me now. It's got that.
Whatever it is, dude, that fly is a ninja fly or something. Like,
they hate me.
whatever you did, don't do that again.
I'm very good at catching flies and killing them because I hate them so much.
Yeah,
right. You're right. It's a revenge plot.
Hey, go ahead and just throw it in your tank. That's just, that's extra fish.
Give them the gold.
Bug bites right there. That's bug bites, right? Basically.
Exactly. Cheaper.
Oh, see, look, just talk about her turning the knob. She turned the knob. Goodbye, plants. All right, man. Y'all take it easy. Much love. Be safe, everybody.
Thanks. See you guys.